Welcome to my Batman model build. As always, I start by taking the pieces off of the plastic mold and filing the sides just to make everything nice and smooth, and tape down the pieces onto some green paint tape and completely paint everything black. Just matte black. That provides a nice base to start your other colors on. I decided to use copper instead of a gunmetal or a steel color, aluminum, that sort of thing. I just really liked how the copper popped against the gloss black. I started by painting the car gloss black, let that dry, gave it 2 coats. Of course, this is over top of the matte black that we already started with. On to Batman. Of course, he started white. We did a matte black on him. Once that dried, I did the gloss black that we did on the seats, and then proceeded to start on the belt. It was a little runny and sloppy, so I let it dry, and then of course just used some black paint really fine and touched it up to the belt line. Did the face. I reworked the body a couple of times. I'd overdo the face a little bit and then fix up the black around that. Anyway, I got it to where I liked it. I'll be honest, the hardest part about this whole thing was trying to paint the symbol on his chest. While these pieces were drying, I decided I would start putting my base together. So I went to KW Surplus and found a picture frame for $2.99 that had just a cool sort of frame that matched the black, and purchased some fiber paper to just give it sort of a texture, and put that, of course, took the glass out and put the paper on top of a piece of hard foam in place of the wood that came with the original photo frame. I then set the pieces on just to get a rough idea of how long it's going to be and how it's going to feel, and I'm liking it. Next up is the control panel in the front of the car. I started by drilling out the speedometer holes on the piece, nice and slow with a hand drill, and glued on some white plastic, some very thin white plastic that would diffuse the light from behind, and glued that on the back. When it was dry, I took some very clear blue, and it's a paint that's just more, it's a see-through paint, and just dabbed blue in the 3 middle circles. I then made a little popsicle square that would fit an LED that would be glued onto the back behind the actual speedometer. I then put the cab together and let it glue. Made sure all the pieces were working, and made sure the fiber optics had a place to go through the front, so I had to do a little modification to the model, but it all worked out really good. I used a couple of different matte colors for the inside. You'll notice the seats are gloss, but the actual inside of the cab is a matte black, and that gives the illusion of leather seats. As that was gluing, I decided to start putting the rest of the car together. Of course, put the wheels together, and some of the side pieces, and the pieces that I could do before I needed to start doing the lighting on the inside. So started by making my LEDs and shrink wrapping them and getting them all ready to go and wired. Of course, flipped the car upside down, and again, an overnight process of gluing the pieces in place and letting them sit overnight, of course. So started with the reds in the back, the brake lights, mounted the front yellow lights. Once everything was set and cured, I beta tested the lights, made sure everything worked, glued it together, and then mounted it onto the picture frame. Soldered all the pieces together, glued the tires down to the piece of paper, and also glued Batman, and we're done. This is it.